Hello, this is Kevin with Bangert Inc. And in this session, we're going to take a look at changing the report title and putting subtitles on a report that can show things like the prompts that we just learned in our last videos. So in our last video, we showed how to ask like date range selections, job selections, and so forth. And a lot of time when you put conditions on a report, it's handy to actually show those conditions somewhere so I could determine, okay, when this report was printed, it was for just this month of February or whatever the case was. I also wanted to go through and show how to put a default on a date field also that I missed in the last session. So let's get started. We're going to go back in and edit that report we've been working on. And the first thing I'm going to take a look at is adding a default date. So for example, in the last video, we added a starting and an ending date. With the ending date, I just want to make it default the current date so I don't always have to put it in because most of the time it'll be whatever today's date is maybe where I want it to end. So I want to put something in there so it's already kind of gets it started so I don't have to put it in when I run the report, if that was a common response that I wanted in it. So there's the date field that we had earlier. I'm going to select the box here. Whoops. I'm going to select the line and go up to my pencil. So this is what we looked at before. So we said the operator was between and we picked a calendar. What I didn't go through last time was go into options. And this is where I could make this required. So both of these prompts that we added, if I left it blank, it showed all the jobs and all the date ranges. If I made it required, somebody would have to put it in. That way I would have to select what job I want, or I would have to put in a date range. I'm going to leave this blank because I still want to leave them blank potentially. And then I want to basically also set up a default. So the default can be a specific value. So if I always want this to start at a particular date or something of that nature, if it was something you're just going to type in, you could put that in. If I wanted to look up the computer date and automatically default the computer date, I'm going to select variable expression in this case. This top one is going to be my starting date. I'm going to leave it blank. And then down here would be my ending date. In this example, then, I'm going to go ahead and put in an @ symbol. I don't know, I call it a funny face. I'm not sure what the bracket's called. So basically, it's the shift of the square bracket. System.current time and close bracket. So that way for my ending date, it should basically look at the system date and come back and just, put in today's date for the default. Set a variable. You can leave this at none unless you want to display the range on your report. So in this case here, I do want to save this. So I'm going to say that it's going to be a presentation variable. And I'm going to give it a name down below here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say date. And I'm going to go back to job and edit it so I can put a variable on it of job. Now I need to come back and actually put that information into my report. I'm going to go back to define and my report properties. And I did that again. That is not a report property. That's going to be on my table property. That would be this one here. So let's start with the title. So one of the things I noticed that I had the 0 in there for sorting, that I wanted this report at the top of the list. In this case, I do want to edit that. And I might just say that my title is just going to be by job. And then my subtitle in this case, I'm going to put in some text. So I'm going to go ahead and say job and then I want to put my job field on it. So I'd called it just straight job for my variable, They need to be in brackets when you put them in here, and they have an @ symbol in front of them representing a variable. So I'm going to put an @ symbol for a variable, then another one of those squiggly brackets, job, close squiggly bracket, and then maybe I'm going to say date, and do the same thing. So I should be able to say @ squiggly bracket, date, close squiggly bracket, and let's see what that looks like in my subtitle then. So I'm going to say done here. I'm going to, so right here in the report designer, it'll just say, AP invoices by job. That was my title. It's kind of showing a representation of AP list, jobs by list. I think I left both of them in there. Did I leave that other one in there too? I didn't really want that other one to still show. Display save name. I don't want to display the save name. So it's just AP invoices by job. Then it's going to show me the job and the date when I get my prompts in there. So let's go run this from my prompt window so I can do my preview and enter some information. In this case, I'm going to select a couple jobs again. And maybe I'll go ahead and enter a date range of something. So now you'll notice it says job, and it lists off job 1 and job 2 with their descriptions behind them. And then it's going to say date, and it basically was from 1/1 of 2020 to 10/26, where that had actually defaulted today's system date. And that's basically how you can actually include your prompts in your report headers, so that way it reminds somebody, what your conditions were. So what date range did I run this by? What quarter was it for? What date range? What list of jobs? What list of vendors? Whatever it may be, you can put in the subtitle there, so that way it'll show up and give more information on what it was printed with. Thanks for watching.